saying goes, all's fair in love and war. But if your home is a war zone, is anyone actually winning? It's often not the content of a fight that destroys a relationship, but rather the process of how you fight, or not, that does it. Before I share my favorite moves to avoid a relationship TKO, hit that subscribe button so you'll be the first to hear when I drop a new video about expansive relationships. Thanks for watching. I'm Iseman, a relationship coach and certified communication specialist with a focus on open relating. Whether you want to open up your relationship to include other people, or you just want to open up more authentically to each other, I want you to open up without blowing up. This channel shares all the lessons that I've learned the hard way so you don't have to. You'd never know it by looking at everyone's Insta scam page, but even the happiest couples have their moments of conflict. However, if you play your cards right, those heated moments can actually bring you closer together. There are two kinds of relationship conflict: fighting, aka hot conflict, and avoidance or emotional distance, aka cold conflict. Fighting is often a mask for fear of being abandoned, of being rejected, of being hurt if your feelings or needs are dismissed, of a relationship ending or feeling like a failure, of anger, your own or someone else's, and someone getting hurt by it. We all deal with fear differently: fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. This video is specifically going to address fighting, or hot conflict, not to be confused with what might come after hot makeup sex. If you can get ahead of the bell, I'm all about preventative action as a first step. When your partner is speaking and upset about something, focus on them. Try to understand their message. Listen with an open mind and respond thoughtfully. No matter how differently you might feel, consider looking at things from their point of view, at least in this moment. This can ideally help prevent a simple disagreement from turning into a full-on fight. But if the bell has already sounded, gloves are on, and you're both tap dancing around the ring, here are the rules of the game if you want to avoid a relationship TKO. The myth of winning. First off, let's bust a big ol' myth. In love, winning an argument is kind of like trying to win at Monopoly. Sure, you've got all the properties, but now everyone hates you. Focusing on winning in an argument with your partner can harm your connection in several ways. It erodes trust. When you're fixated on winning, your partner may feel unheard or dismissed. This can lead to a total breakdown of trust, as they might start to believe that their feelings and perspectives don't matter to you. It breeds resentment. If one person consistently wins, the other might feel powerless or undervalued, leading to bitterness over time. This resentment can simmer and explode later, seemingly out of nowhere, and often over minor issues that are actually symptoms of deeper dissatisfaction. It shifts focus from the relationship to the self. Winning an argument prioritizes a sense of individual victory instead of mutual understanding. It pits you against each other and becomes more about being right than being connected. An important question to ask yourself is, what's more important, that I'm right or that we stay together? It creates a power imbalance. If you're constantly trying to win, you're establishing a dynamic where you're always dominating the relationship. This imbalance can make your partner feel controlled or suppressed, leading to feelings of disconnection. It undermines emotional intimacy. Emotional intimacy thrives on vulnerability and mutual respect. When winning is the goal, partners might withhold their true feelings or shut down emotionally to protect themselves, chipping away at the closeness and safety that intimacy requires. It fosters a competitive atmosphere. Relationships should be about collaboration, not competition. If you're always competing to be right, you lose sight of the fact that you're on the same team. This competitive mindset can turn small disagreements into bigger, unnecessary conflicts. The only thing you should try to win is your partner's understanding, not the argument. In essence, focusing on winning turns the relationship from stable ground into a battleground. The golden rule of fighting fair: fight like you're both on the same team, because you are. Imagine you're playing doubles tennis at the Paris Olympics. If you start swinging wildly at your partner, neither of you is going home with the gold. It's important that you both see disagreements as a chance to understand each other better, rather than a battle to be won. Obstacles can become opportunities when the team is united. Use I statements to talk about what happened for you, instead of you accusations to describe what you assume happened for the other person. Remember what assuming does. For example, you could say, I think, I feel, or I believe, rather than you did, you are, or you always. It's never a good idea to use generalizations, so make sure you always avoid them. Timeouts, not just for kids. It's more than okay to take breaks during a heated argument to cool down and gather your thoughts. It actually might be the one thing standing between a resolution and a relationship TKO. Let's be honest, no one makes their best points when their face is beet red. Time and space are two of your greatest allies for a swift resolution. It may seem counterintuitive, but agreeing to step away for a set amount of time in the heat of the moment may be the key to arriving at a mutual resolution, and it might even get you there faster than just trying to push through. Here's a quick step step-by-step process to respectfully and effectively request a timeout and set a time to revisit the discussion once emotions have settled. Acknowledge the tension. Start by acknowledging the current emotional state without placing any blame. This shows that you're aware of the situation and care about the impact of the discussion. Express the need for a break. Communicate that you need a break to gather your thoughts and calm down. Frame it as something that will benefit both of you rather than as an avoidance tactic. Reaffirm your commitment to the conversation. Make it clear that this is not about ignoring the issue or dismissing the argument. Instead, it's about ensuring that the conversation is productive and respectful. Set a specific time to revisit the issue. Choose a concrete time to come back to the discussion, so neither partner feels like the issue will be swept under the rug. Affirm your care for the relationship. End the request on a positive note by reaffirming your commitment to the relationship and the importance of the discussion. Respect the agreement. If you've agreed to a timeout, stick to it. Don't try to bring up the issue again before the agreed time. And make sure you're ready to engage in a calmer, more constructive discussion when the time comes. By handling the timeout request in this way, you show respect for both your partner's feelings and your own, while also demonstrating a commitment to resolving the issue constructively. The power of an effective apology. You know what's hotter than being right? Being humble enough to say, "I'm sorry." A sincere apology can be a game changer and often a panty dropper in any argument. Remember, apologizing doesn't mean you're wrong about everything. It means you value the relationship more than your ego. Plus, who doesn't love makeup sex? Try the 3-part apology when there is a specific point of conflict and repair is needed. Name it. Describe what happened and acknowledge how you played a part in it. Claim it. Own the impact that your actions had on the person or the people you're speaking to. Reframe it. State clearly new actions that you're going to take or ones that you're going to stop in order to prevent this from happening again. Make sure your fight process includes focused time afterwards for reconnection and repair. And don't be afraid to laugh at yourself. Humor can be the ultimate diffuser in tense moments, especially when it's shared. Just make sure the humor is self-reflective and not at the expense of your partner. That can have the opposite effect and become the last laugh you don't want. Conflict as connection. Here's a secret. Conflict isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving together. I've seen so many couples fighting over literally nothing. Through working with me, they realize they've actually been saying different versions of the same thing the whole time. But because they're dealing with something I call compound meanings, and they haven't defined terms to create their own shared language, they end up in a fight that's been completely rigged from the start. What we focus on, we get more of. So be sure to make requests instead of complaints. If you're complaining about what you think isn't there, guess what you're gonna get? More of the same. Try asking for what you want and framing it as an invitation. When you share what you actually want and need, you start creating a new vision for the future with your partner instead of staying stuck in the past. Fights are like workouts. No pain, no gain. But if you don't use good form in the gym or prioritize recovery afterwards, you're not getting stronger. You're just hurting yourself. Conflicts can actually strengthen a relationship when handled properly. So make sure to use all the tips we discussed in this video to improve your fighting form. Let's recap, shall we? Effective apologies have 3 parts. Fighting is a mask for fear. Address that and avoid the fray. Use I statements and avoid generalizations. Fighting in love is actually a zero-sum game. Either everyone wins or no one does. Timeouts aren't just for kids. You're not trying to win. You're trying to understand because you're on the same team. Don't be afraid to laugh at yourself. Remember, in the game of love, it's not about winning against each other. It's about winning as a team. The path to repair is actually laid during the fight itself. Use these tips and tools to help you lay the groundwork for your conflicts to become opportunities for connection. Curious to see if the math adds up for you to open up? Download my free relationship ratio workbook and check out the other resources in the links below to learn how I can help you open up without blowing up. And until next time, keep fighting the good fight.